showcase.
Yeah,
It's your time to shine.
it's your time to shine.
Welcome to the showcase.
Yeah, yeah,
Stay on your grind.
stay on your grind.
Welcome to
Yeah,
the
making my way
showcase.
through, busting my way through, burning my way through like a ball of fire. It's showcase in no case. It's astronomical, bringing you the phenomenal. The center stage, just a showcase with a K. Taking your talent to the world. It's time now for center stage. The spotlight's on you, so do what you do. This is showcase, and we ain't got time to waste. Turning dreams into reality. From rags to riches, I was down bad in the trenches. Had to get off the benches. Took a 40 and made a flip. I had to find me a way, but I needed a better band, so I took to the stage. Can't take that minimum wage of getting locked in a cage. So I got my bars up, put the pen to the page. If I can, then you can. So put the pedal to the metal. But right now, it's time to settle into the showcase.
Showcase. It's your time.
Na 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 na. So some people want it all, but I don't wanna pick it up. If it ain't you, baby, if I ain't got you, baby, see some people want diamond rings, some just want everything, but everything means nothing if I ain't got you. If I ain't got you, baby. No, 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 no. Everything means nothing. Nothing if I ain't got you, baby. If I ain't got you, na 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 na. I want to love you. Really, I think you need some loving. Yeah, tender loving, yeah. And I'll take you there. I'll take you there. I'll take you there. Na, 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 yeah. I wanna dance with somebody. I wanna feel the heat with somebody. I wanna dance with somebody. Oh, with somebody who loves. I want to love you. Really, I think you need some loving, tender loving, girl. And I'll take you there. I'll take you there. I'll take you there. I'll take you there. I'll take you there.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Showcase Talk Show. I am your hostess with the mostest, Juanita. And today we have a very, very exciting artist here. Her story is amazing. We have an international artist, actually, coming all the way out from the islands right here to Maryland. And she's online with us today. Please tell everybody who you are.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cariel Coates. I am from the beautiful island of Antigua and Barbuda, and I moved here to the United States about 3 years ago to pursue my dreams as a singer and as an artist. And I also came to further my education. So I came here as a student, and I'm now studying clinical psychology. That's my master's program.
Clinical psychology. That must be that must actually help you with writing songs. Learn.
It does.
Learning about the brain. So, actually, let's jump to like your very, very first musical experience. Since you have a little adventure and a journey, tell me about that moment when you knew music was what you wanted.
I grew up in a household that was filled with music. My dad is a pastor, so I was always singing in the church, playing. So I knew I had a calling for music at a very young age. And I also know that God was the one that gave me my talent, and I knew that my purpose was to share that with the world. So I began to use my experiences from high school, going through depression, peer pressure, things like that, and just having problems with low self-esteem. And I began to write about those things. And when I started to share my songs and share my passion with the world, I realized how much of an influence I had on people. And that's why I decided to take music to the next level.
So I'm assuming that your father definitely had an impact on what to sing and write about and what not to sing and write about. Can you tell us about perhaps that struggle or that conflict or just that journey of actually finding yourself within an already made template?
Yes, that was a very hard thing to do growing up as a Christian, growing up in a pastor's kid's home. It's very hard to sometimes figure out what to write about because you have people telling you, well, you should only write about gospel or write about God. But I know that God put in me something that was very special, and I believe that He gave me the opportunity to be able to share things that were going on in my life with the world, no matter what it was about. And I feel like once from an early age, I was able to see that I have a purpose, and that purpose cannot be determined by what other people think. I think I started to use that as fuel to press forward and just be able to write about positive things and things that can actually influence people in a positive way.
And how did you find that people actually received your music when you actually first started?
So when I first started writing, I actually wrote a lot more of like R&B songs and things like that. And people really liked it, but I realized that my calling was really in gospel. There was like something in the way that I sang about the things that God brings you through. Like that's just a different experience. So I think a lot of people were able to relate with that too. But I feel like no matter what you write, once people can see that you have a passion, that you have a vision, and that you have a heart for what you do, I think that's what allows people to gravitate to you.
And as far as some of your first competitions, because I believe you really started getting your musical chops in competitions in school. Am I correct?
That's correct. So when I was in Puerto Rico, I entered a competition in school. I actually won that competition. This was in Antillian Adventist University. And then after that, when I moved here to the United States, I had the opportunity to try out for different shows. I tried out for American Idol, for America's Got Talent, all of these shows, even before actually I made it as far as getting on the show for when we're going to record. But just as I was about to walk onto the stage, the producer said that we were going to cut for recording that day. So I was not able to continue in the competition, unfortunately. And I was very, very close to my dream. So it was very heartbreaking to go through things like that.
Wait, American Idol?
Yes.
You were that close?
Yes.
Okay,
American
so
Idol before, especially before.
okay, so please tell me about that experience. I mean, how did you apply? Did someone nominate you? Did you need fans in order to get that? Like, tell us about the process of actually applying for these shows, because a lot of artists oftentimes don't do it because they have no idea what to expect. So, if you don't mind helping out a fellow artist, please tell us about that experience.
So, what I think a lot of people don't know about these auditions, before you see the actual TV audition, there's about 3 or 4 auditions you have to go through before they pick you to actually go on the show. So, you really have to be strong and like go through all those auditions and really be prepared for what is going to come. So, when I first auditioned for these shows, I always made it as far as just before they pick you to get on the actual TV audition. So, it was a matter of just kind of pressing forward, even though sometimes it may not have looked like it was going to work out. I just said, you know what, I'm going to keep trying. So after one show didn't work out, I tried out for the next one and I kept going. And the hard part about it is just like, you know, they don't really explain to you why they tell you no. They just kind of tell you, no, we're not going to have you for this season. So you never really know what the problem is. And then that's when you kind of start thinking maybe the problem is me, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I'm not a great artist. But it really has nothing to do with that. I feel like it has a lot to do with your calling and your time. And sometimes you may be trying all of these things and maybe the door is not opening because it's just not your time yet. So I feel like the way my story kind of like opened up and it started to reach different people was through me beginning to street perform. And once I started street performing, that's when a lot of people started to realize my talent. And that's when one day a TV network picked up my story and they aired it on TV. And that's how a lot of people started to get to know of my story. So even if those doors did close, another door did open.
Wow, I mean, you had a spinoff, is what you're saying, pretty much.
Yep. That is exactly what happened.
I mean, that's the best kind of outcome I think anybody would want. You go to try to for these shows, and then you don't make it on the show, but you get a whole spotlight on your story
Right.
alone. And I mean, that goes back to what you said. it's all about your calling. You'll get that door opened if it's supposed to be open for you, and as long as you knock on enough doors.
Mm-hmm.
But just stay tight with me. Hold tight, everybody. We'll be right back after a commercial break.
I'm way too good to you. I'm way too good to you. You take my love for granted. I just don't understand it. No, I'm way too good to you. I'm way too good to you. You take my love for granted. I just don't understand it. No, I'm way too good to you. To you, to you. I just don't understand it, baby. Ooh.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Yes. The Showcase Talk Show would love to get your feedback. We want to thank you very much for being a listener, and we want to know how to make the show better for you. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see. If you want to be a part of the show, if you want a newsletter, please, whatever it is, talk to us, let us know. Thank you again for being a watcher. Enjoy, stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody, to the Showcase Talk Show. I am here with Miss Coates, a soon-to-be reality star and music artist. Before we left off, Miss Coates told us how she tried out for The Four and for The Voice, and this was about 2 to 3 years ago, and she didn't get it. However, a network reached out to her for her own spotlight. So with that being said, please tell us where we can, and this was only 3 weeks ago. So this is very recent. So this is an exclusive interview. Please tell us where we might be able to find some of that information, or where should we stay tuned in so we can keep track and follow you.
For sure. You can definitely look up the story, WJLA.com. They have the story there. That was a TV network that had picked me up. And also, the story aired on Fox News, so you can definitely go on their website. And you can also just check out my page on Instagram, Cariel_music, and that's where you can find the story of just moving here as a student and using my abilities to sing to eventually go on the street and street perform. And I started to use this money to, raise it for school because, college is expensive. And that was one of my ways of, getting the attention of people around me to realize, that, hey, I have a talent. I want to share it with the world. And by street performing, I started raising money for school. I started to connect with everybody around me, start to get more followers and get more people to pay attention to my music.
And how do you balance all of these things? Because it seems like you have everything kind of seamlessly tying into one another. How do you find the balance to practice? Because then you have pretty much instrument practice, 2 instruments to work on, plus your writing, plus getting everything out there, and school. And that's a lot of school too, because you're dealing with people's brains. So how do you balance it all?
It is very difficult to balance it. There's days where I just want to stay in my bed. But, you really have to push yourself and realize, like, when you have a goal and you really want to achieve it, you have to just get up every day and say, I'm going to get this done. So sometimes I have to basically write down, okay, this is what I want to do for today. Make sure that I'm not overwhelmed because I'm a workaholic. So I like to just try to get everything done. But sometimes you have to take a step back and you have to really plan. And I think that's what has helped me to really get through all of those difficult days between having to, sing and street perform all day and then come back and study. It's really hard to do that sometimes, but, you just have to make sure that you plan and also take some time to rest. Because if you keep going, and you don't take a break, then, your body's not prepared to take on the world. So that's how I do it.
Agreed. What would you say for, what would you consider to be your, artist survival kit, like for you to go through a super busy week, day, or just something challenging? What are the tools and things that you must have with you to get through it?
For sure. The tools. I always tell people the number one thing that I do is pray, having a connection with God. getting your strength from God to push through, because He's the only person that can really understand what is going to happen during your day. We don't know what's going to happen with our lives, and
Mm.
God does. So I really try to pray and connect with God, and just ask Him for the strength to go through my day. And then I think another important thing is really surrounding yourself with people who have the same mindset as you, so that whenever like you're down or you don't really want to achieve your goals and you're just kind of like, oh, I don't want to do this today, you have people around you that can really push you and tell you, hey, you got to go get that money, you got to study, you got something that you need to accomplish. I think that's very important. And then the last thing I would say is finding it within yourself to really say, okay, you know what? I want this. You have to make sure that you have the desire for it, because nobody can want your dreams for you. Nobody can press forward for you. You have to want it for yourself. So I think reminding yourself every day of your desire and your passion and what you want to do really helps you to go forward. So that's my little kit.
No, thank you, definitely, because artists always want to know, how do I get famous? How do I get famous? And it's like preparation and your support system, and support
Yes.
is what you need individually to move forward. Um, what are you working on now? Can we see you someplace? Can we hear you someplace? We want to know.
So right now I am hiding in the studio.
Ah, okay.
I am trying to get all of the material that I've written over the past couple of years. I'm trying to put it together, all the new experiences I've had this year about heartbreak, about challenges, about, just getting up and just moving to a totally different country and trying to pursue my dreams, being a student, being a young Black woman, trying to um, pursue her dreams. Like, these are the different experiences that I've been having that I want to now put into songs. So I'm really just trying to take in everything that I'm going through, the good and the bad, and use that to write to help connect with others, because I know other people are going through the same thing. And through song, a lot of people can relate to the words, and they can say, you know what, if this person did it, if he's willing to make this big risk and pursue her dream, that means I can do it too. So I want to be an inspiration for the world. So right now I'm really in the studio trying to make a lot of music so that I can finally put it out to the world and be an inspiration. And in the meantime, I'm street performing, and whenever I street perform and I'm going to be at a local event or a festival, I usually tell everyone to just go to my Facebook page or go to my Instagram to find me, and they can find me performing.
And will this EP that you're working on, you said it would be like, something about going through your struggles and how to get over it. So would you say, will it be a little mix of R&B-ish and kind of gospel?
Yes, it is. There's
Nice.
actually a track that we just finished in the studio, and it's a little bit of a mix of R&B and gospel. It's really nice. I can't wait for people to hear that. And it's really just saying that God is good. He's amazing, and He's brought me this far. And there's no way I'm going to give up. I have no reason to be stressed because I'm too blessed. So that's kind of along the line. It's a more of an inspirational album as well, where it talks about just journeys and experiences that I've had, that at points where I may have felt like, this wasn't for me, or I felt really down, or I felt depressed, or, things like that. And finding a way to rise above all of that. So, and obviously heartbreak, dealing with being in a relationship and things not working out, so it's a mixture of all of that. But at the end of the day, it's all to inspire.
It sounds like we're getting back to like the old music that actually helped us get through things, as opposed to the music now where it's just like we're in this consistent one state of mind. But I
Yeah.
have a silly question. So, does that mean you've listened to Kanye's newest album, his gospel album?
You know what? People may have a lot to say about that, some positive, some negative. But for me, I've always looked at music as a form of expression. So even if someone doesn't agree with the genre, or somebody doesn't necessarily agree with who the person is or why they're trying to sing this particular genre, I feel at the end of the day, if the music inspires, if it touches hearts, if it causes people to think about their lives and want to change, then it's good music. And the way that somebody chooses to express themselves, I don't think people should be judgmental of that, but there are a lot of people that they have a lot to say. But I have listened to it, and I do love a lot of the concepts that he has. Musically, he's a genius, so we can't take that away from him. If somebody wants to be negative about it, then that's just their opinion. But I think that everybody should have the freedom to express themselves through music.
I agree. Um,
Yeah.
So, with unfortunately wrapping up this conversation, I've really enjoyed it so far. I want to get to one of your most recent projects, and it's pretty much you're raising money to fund this amazing album, your amazing new endeavors. Can you tell us about it?
Yes. So when I moved here first in 2016, I came here as a F1 student. So it was very difficult as a student to be able to find a job and to work because there were work restrictions as an F1 student. So that's when I began to street perform, and that's when I started to tell people about, I'm raising money for school, and I'm also trying to raise money to, build a home studio so that I can eventually make my own music. So the reason why I made this GoFundMe was to bring awareness to everyone, to let them know what I'm doing, and to allow them to donate to my cause so that I can, finish the music that I'm writing, so I can also finish school. Because like I said, doing a master's program and moving out here all by myself, it's very hard sometimes to be able to handle things financially, especially, being an F1 student. So having people know about what I'm trying to do and have people support my music and also support my educational endeavors, it would be great if people can go to my GoFundMe, and you can find that at Cariel Music. You can just type Cariel Music, and you will definitely see that on my GoFundMe.
Thank you so very much. Everyone, please remember, even the smallest donation makes a humongous difference. There are power in numbers. If thousands of people only donate $1, that will still be able to push this young woman forward in her goals and help her meet those marks. And before we go, can you please just give us one last time your Instagram and all of your contact information that you would like for us to have?
Sure. So if you'd like to follow me on Instagram, you can do that at Cariel_music, and you spell my name Cariel_music. You can also find me on YouTube at Cariel Coates. That's Cariel, last name Coates. You can also follow me on Twitter at that same name, at Cariel Coates. And you can find me on my Facebook page, Cariel Coates Music. That's Cariel Coates Music. And last but not least, you can find me on SoundCloud at Cariel_music.
Thank you so much, Cariel. Thank you, everyone who's watching. Have a great night. That is it for the Showcase Talk Show.
Righteous Minds Entertainment create promotional items for your company. We create business cards, flyers, logos, and video commercials that fit just for you. We'll promote it on social media, YouTube, and our talk show. We'll also provide an interview on our show. Contact us at 646-210-2982. RighteousMinds1@gmail.com or the Showcase Booking at gmail.com to become a guest. We are Righteous Minds Entertainment for all your video production needs.